Well, hiya, kids and cadets. Welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out. End of the day, and I've spent almost the whole day on this Craftsman turd. You're not going to believe this thing. This thing was a pain in my bottom. It's an '07. I can give you the engine number in a bit, the Sears model number, and the serial number for Sears. So, my Acca City scrapper stopped by yesterday. He said, "Hey, I was at the gas station recently. There's a guy in your neighborhood that has, two outboard boat engines he wants to scrap. Do you have a engine lift?" They also call it a cherry picker. And I said, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Can I borrow it?" I said, "No problem." So I dug it out. This thing happened to be right in front of it. That's why I grabbed it. I figured today, while I was waiting for him to show up, I would tinker with this, and it ended up being an all-day project. So I actually went with him to help him with the outboards that were heavier than heck. 650 pounds, I think he said. He got 14 cents a pound for them. It's about 90 bucks. Dirty aluminum, meaning it had steel bolts, plastic hoses on it, so you don't get the aluminum clean price. They call it dirty because there's other materials attached to the aluminum. So he made a quick 90 bucks. So then I went back and helped them and loaded up 2 aluminum gas tanks, huge things. They were empty, not very heavy aluminum, so he can bring those and get money for the aluminum. It'd probably be clean aluminum if he takes off the rubber fuel lines and whatever else. So what I'll probably do is turn this over. I'll show you the bottom. I kind of started there, and then there was a cluster after that. So blade worn out. When I turned it over, the blade was off of the adapter, so I think they hit something that slid these off 45 degrees. So I just had the blade off. I kind of squared up the round doohiggy-majiggies and got the blade to fit on, tighten it all back down. But you see, this thing's a piece of crap. One of the wheels was dragging. This one here is super loose. This thing's a dog. So no bail bar. This is taped up for the cable, rusty cable. I can't budge that. So I disassembled it, so I'll be able to start. These wing nuts were rusted shut. I put some rust buster on these to get them to break free. So this thing has just been sitting and rotting. So from what I discovered, somebody's was messing with this thing, in other words, and they came into a roadblock, and that's where I came into play. So this was a nearly all day deal. So let me get you here. I'll show you everything that was busted. I had a bucket of quantum parts Scrapper gave me with all kinds of stuff, and it was helpful today. I snatched some things out of the bucket that were missing on this. There was no beauty ring on top of the engine. I know it's a Craftsman because the ID plate back here and their Precision Plus cutting system, I know that's Craftsman's wording. So if everything goes right, we're going to put junk oil in it. The oil that came out of it was kind of brownish. So I don't know if that was water, possibly was water, because I had the plug out with the carb off and I was blowing air through the intake, and some brownish snot was pouring out of the spark plug hole. So I tilted it back, put some gas in, spun the engine a few times, and then blasted all that out. So hopefully the gas got rid of that snot. Okay, so where do we start? Okay, we'll start with the recoil. So recoil and tank was on it. So 2 of the 3 screws on the recoil that hold the tank down were missing. This one was on, so I go to remove it and it's just spinning, and I'm like, ah, oh, piss. How can I get my back screws off? So I took the front 2 off, no problem. So I thought, you know what I could do? I could maybe try to manipulate the tank. But I come down here to take the bottom screw off, and that was a bear. Somebody had tried to get it off and had stripped the head, so I had to take vice grips and do like a quarter turn, and finally got this thing off. And you can see up here on the threads, it took aluminum with it. So that was a PIA. So that came off. I was able to get some sockets back there to get these 2 bolts off. So then I'm stuck with the whole unit here with one nut, one screw I can't get off. So I tried tapping on the end of the screw. Maybe it was cross threaded. I took a brass punch and tried to tap it, and then tried turning it. Nothing. It was just freewheeling. So I just took my grinder and put it in here between the plastic and the sheet metal, and I just ground the shit out of the bolt and ground it down. So I'm not going to be reattaching it there. So that was that. So messing with it, I see the string all green and snotty. So I says, I got to change that. So I changed it out with some number 4. This is the air filter that came off it. It looks like bark. Kind of crazy on that. So I told you it was a shit show. So rectified that. What else was an issue? Oh, the little keeper here was bent and it wasn't letting one of the pawls spring out. So I grabbed this out of the quantum bucket and put that in, rewound the new rope. So this is ready to go. Carb wasn't bad. Put a new bowl gasket on the carb. There was just a little bit of sediment down there. So this was the best part of it all, is the carb wasn't toast. So get the cover off. There's no spring here. I had to put the air vane spring on. That was missing. It was just, this was off to the side. Luckily the bolt wasn't gone. It was just disconnected. Choke wafer was rusted open. I put some oil on that, broke that free. Took the coil off, cleaned up the rust here on the flywheel, and used a business card to gap it. You see this bolt doesn't match the other colors here, missing the head bolt. Didn't notice it till I screwed with this, and I thought, oh shit, if somebody broke off the head bolt in here, this is gonna kill me. Luckily I go to the bucket, find a quantum head bolt, fit perfectly. It wasn't broken off. They just must have thrown it in the trash. So that all worked out. What else was wrong? There'll be more, let me tell you. Yeah, this bolt back here was missing. I didn't have to deal with that because it was off. The one here I could reach. The little piece of sheet metal that goes here to keep the air against the block when it's cooling, that was gone. Somebody broke off that. So I kind of switch bolts. The bolt that was here, I'm going to use here. I found another bolt in the bucket with a wide washer. This was in the bucket, so I cleaned that up. That's going to go on there. I think that's it. You can see the greeny green from sitting. So like I said, we're going to use junk oil. I don't know what this thing's going to do or not do. So you guys that love quantums, I mean, if this thing puffs, it's going to be a miracle. If you want to know the gasket for these backing plates, I got it right here. 795829, it looks like. I got a 10 pack. So what do you want to do? Let's do the recoil, get that started. So we're not even close to being done with this thing. It's going to need the bail bar, a new cable, the blade is shot. So this thing was a dog and a half. Not for sale in California. Do not ship to a retail store in Cali. And there's the engine serial, build date 12th month 07, which we already discovered. My neighbor's got his electric lawnmower out. I usually bring mine over and test on his lawn. I guess I've been lacking in my neighborly duties. But sometimes his grass gets high and I'm busy doing my own thing, and that little battery powered machine really strains. E3, so we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. We'll put this on. Like I said, if it starts, it'll be a miracle. I know you guys love these Quantums. You say they're built like small military tanks. Okay, where's my screws for here? These look good enough. We'll get these started. I won't go all the way. Okay, gonna have to address that. The connector here and the plug wires rusty to all get out. I'm gonna have to get a good connection. So going to breakfast tomorrow. Uncle Brad, my brother, my son Greg. So that should be good. I like breakfast. We talk about life and life's complexities. Ryan might show, I'm not sure. Uncle Brad's middle son. We're kind of gonna meet in his neck of the woods. So I told Uncle Brad, see if he can come out. Okay, so far I haven't found anything that was stripped out from the previous owner. No broken studs, just those issues that I had run into with just bolts that did not want to budge. Okay, I'm going to do this one. That bucket of quantum parts really came in handy. All kinds of stuff like this. Just everything that was disassembled was thrown in a bucket. Except for the block, I don't have any of that stuff. It's just all the tin, springs, bolts, yada yada yada. So that fit perfectly. Tighten that down. Okay. That just keeps the air circulating since it is an air-cooled engine. Okay, so what can we do? Everything's still moving. We're going to do backing. No, we'll do the tank. We'll get the tank all situated. So for now, I'm just going to use one bolt because that's all I have for right now on this shoulder bolt. Yep. And then deal with it later. That bucket probably has some of these down at the bottom. So I'll just need one more. Okay, where is this? It's an 8. Who do we appreciate? Oh, thanks for telling me. Jumping the gun here. I got my filler tube. Needs to be bolted to the recoil, so get that on before the tank, because that's what's going to happen. And I still may need to find another one of these. Reason being is I need this one here for the recoil. I mean, yeah, for the tube here, oil tube going to the recoil. Okay, so that's on and tight. I could just put something in here temporarily because that's not really structurally important. I got the 3 screws for the black backing plate. I'm not going to put this in because it's screwed up. So it'd be good to have 2 points of contact at least. Okay, let me take a quick look in the bucket. Nothing like live television. I also have another container with important little bolts like this. So I may have already taken the smallest stuff out of the bucket. Okay, so I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to let it hang. Okay, let's do the hose. One end of the hose to the carb was off, and some dirt gobbers had gone in here and built the nest, so I cleaned that all out. That would have been a stinker, putting this thing together and have no fuel flow. So this might dance, but it's going to have to do for right now. You know what I mean? I got to keep the production going. Is that one? Okay, so that's that. Let's deal with this crustiness. See, what can I use? A pick, maybe some sandpaper if I can get it up in there. Little piece of sandpaper. I'll try. These things can get rusted and break off. They're not very thick on these clips. Stick a little piece of sandpaper. Try to give it a twisty twist. And that's okay. It's kind of loose there. I'm going to take channel locks and just give this thing a little squeezy wheezy. Okay, that's tighter. That's tighter than it was. Hopefully we got a good connection. Okay. Who's coming in? United. I just heard the speed brakes. Okay, this. And I have a filter nearby. Okay, got to put my gasket on. While I'm doing that, I'm going to walk thither and grab my air filter. I can do two things at once and walk at the same time. That's three things. Four things. I'm talking to you guys. Okay, 81 degrees in the shade. It was a warm day today. But great breeze out of the north. Okay, we're coming along. I'm not really organized here, but I'm going to give it my best shot. This gasket here isn't as critical when it's auto choke, but when it's priming, you got to make darn sure it's good and tight and sealing. You can see they got it plugged off here with the cap because I don't know how to wrap. All I can do is metal scrap. Okay, so I had to take this off, the guard, because it was so tight to get my vice grips in here. With this off, it gave me a little bit more of a turning radius. So those two nuts down there were rusted. Of course they were. So that just added to my shit show. I had to goop up the nuts with some of the rust buster and move forward. So where are we? We're right here. Put a little used oil on these threads. Okay, got those two started. Did I forget anything? On this Precision Plus cutting system, the one and only. Yeah, so I think whoever had this tried to do a few things and just ran into a roadblock, couldn't get this thing taken apart. That's where grinders come in. I thought about sacrificing the tank, just destroying the tank to get it off, but then I says, no, I'll sacrifice that bolt because 2 out of 3 can hold this tank down. It didn't have any rat damage or big cracks, so why destroy it? You know what I mean? Okay. Sun's going behind the trees. I better shake a leg. I want to sit on the front porch and watch some birds go by. Kind of a shit show day. But you gotta take them like that. If this thing runs, I'll be one step closer to putting this in the finish pile. You know, I'll be happy that I didn't give up on it and just give it back to a scrapper and say, get rid of this scrappy dog. Okay, we're gonna drop it down. I'm gonna put junk oil in it, which is right here. And then I have my fresh Wawa non-ethanol, ethanol-free recreational fuel. We'll put that in there. I saw my mascot out front on the sidewalk. I don't know where he went. Just stepped on your toe. I'm sorry. That may be an issue, this thing dancing around. What can I do? If I had something smaller in diameter than that. I don't want to stick that all the way down because it would get in the way of the flywheel. Okay, I think I know what I can do. I'm just going to run this wire. At least we'll have one point of contact. Oh, two, the hose is holding it. Okay, unorthodox, but I'm going with it. Okay, so let's drop this down. You didn't see what I was doing, but you'll see it in a minute. Just tied it up with some wire. So I'll push this thing off, get you situated. We'll oil it and gas it. The other thing is there wasn't much oil in it. Very little bit. So this might be all for nothing. While that settles down, I'll gas it. And then I still got to give you model numbers and all that jazz. I don't need a lot. That's plenty. I'm covering the bottom. Okay. Now we leaking. We better not be. It was a new bowl gasket. That looks good. We'll do a little dippy here with the dipstick. What do we got? Oh, looking good. Okay, we're just above the bottom hole. There's enough in it to start. Okay. We're ready. Still no gas leaking. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Okay, place your bets. I say 2 pull Annie. Give the plug here another little twist. Break any of that remaining rust. And what are we doing on the linkage? That's kill, that's run. So make sure that doesn't bounce back to ground out the coil. Well. That seemed to work. We just made a dust bowl. This blade still's got some lift. We just kind of blasted all that sand onto my shoes and all back here. But it did start low RPMs. We just got to tweak that, put a little more pressure here forward to increase RPMs. A little smoky out of the exhaust, that's fine. Who knows how long this thing's been sitting, and it did have some oily cylinder walls. So I'm pleased. Just got to deal with 2 screws here. Like I said, the cable shot, and I need the bail bars missing. Service the wheels and the adjusters. So we're almost there on this 2007. I'm happy for the amount of time I mess with this thing. I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'll take it. Time to bake it. So let me give you numbers. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's a long video, but it was a long day with this thing. You know what I mean? The engine 125 Tango 02 1024 Bravo 1. Here's your date code. It's all in one line. 07 12 1650. 2007 model year, 12th month, 16th day. And then down here you see on the serial number, that's a date code, 12th month, 19th day of 07. So they did the engine on the 16th and they put it on the final production on the deck on the 19th. So this is the model number for Crafty, 917 period 388440. I think that's all. That's pretty much all I can say. Serial number, model number. Don't have the beauty ring, so I don't know what they're calling this thing, but it's got the Precision Plus cutting system. So for a turd, it started. I'm happy. You guys that like the Quantums, you're going to be pleased that this crap box did something. With as much trouble or issues it had, I was kind of skeptical. Anywho, continue to have a nice day. Allegiant's bringing more people to Southwest Florida, so that's fine. They're on vacation. Tip your waitress and wait staff, which I'll do tomorrow. Adios, amigos.